Yeah, obviously crazy game, hard-fought game. I'm happy how we responded to a lot of different situations. I thought our crowd was incredible. I thought they really helped us on that defensive end a lot. I liked how we kind of, in a sense, picked up our defensive intensity that way to start the game and establish who we were going to be. Man, Bashir does such a good job with the defenses and to keep you on your toes. We have 18 turnovers and 9 assists. It's ugly, looks ugly. But when you're watching the tape, and even when you're preparing for them, you're just trying to find a rhythm and find your decision makers. But you just got to really go against it, And I thought we did a better job attacking it this time as opposed to when we were on the road there. And I think that kind of led to us feeling aggressive in this game. So obviously a great Friday night here, but we got to turn the page as we get ready for Merrimack and get ready for a game on Sunday.
Dan, CJ talked about the urgency on this team and mentioned that it's been there since day one. How much did you see that tonight, and how much has the cultivation of that urgency helped you, especially down the stretch here?
Yeah, I told them post game all the experiences that we've lost a lot of different ways this year, and all those experiences have kind of calloused us up. You know what I mean? They've kind of made us be able to fall back on what we believe in our foundations and in our approach. And I've shifted as well as a human. I think they have as well, and they've received it well. And now I think we're at that time of the year. We want the uptick to happen, so we're talking about it a lot and trying to make it so we're in that environment, and we're really confident in our aggressiveness and in our play and our style. So I think we're feeling that and understanding what's right in front of us, and I think we'll keep building off it.
St. Peter's lives in the paint. You outscored them 38-20 tonight. How much of a key was that in the preparation?
Yeah, I thought it was critical for us from 2 to really do that. I'm sure they in turn, they outshot us from 3, which is different, But I think we kind of took a different identity tonight with the aggressiveness and with our paint production. I thought, obviously Lamin's always a big part of that, but I loved Cozy's, downhill mindset. He's been playing so well for us, and in this lull when we've lost it in a little bit here, he's been playing so well for us and really responded to a challenge that I love about him. And I think that was a big piece of it. And obviously Aliu had a couple, but Lamin, CJ, Cozy really playing in that paint. And I think even Den was finding some different looks for himself. He got the one to go in, which was great. It was a big make for us, and we got to keep rolling with what he's got.
What did you think of your efforts tonight?
I think defensively we were very mindful to start. I thought we did a great job boxing out in that first half. They got a couple back in that second half that I think we all wish we had a couple back there. But I thought the effort was there. I thought the intensity on the on-ball defense was great, a little bit different than we've kind of had. And I think, Aliu was great as a rim protector, but even when they went 5 guards, we were able to use our past experiences of being exposed in that world, and did a good job of producing a physical effort, and I thought our effort was there for us.
Tim, good. There was a nice 11-point run you guys had in the second half. Feel like that was you guys started to turn a corner?
Yeah, I think it kind of breathed some belief back and in the building. I really, I think this is a funny little team that we got here. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I love this job in particular, because we got a lot of different things we got to experience quickly to be able to win and then meet expectations. And that was incredible for us to feel that. I think, again, same deal defensively. We really felt a positive approach there. And then offensively, we got aggressive, we got attacking, and we were playing with our instincts. We'll talk about that a lot in down the stretch here. And I thought that got us in some good standing.
It's such a close back and forth game, essentially the entire time. But once it got into overtime, what allowed you guys to take most of the control?
That's a good question. I think defensively, we just felt we were on a lot of the rhythm of the game. Even Bland gets that elevator screen on the right corner, and we kind of took a tough route there and didn't have our help. correct on that. Besides that, I think we just felt, we felt the rhythm of the game defensively. That's what we talk about with like mindfulness a lot. Like we were very mindful of the situations that we were in, and I thought in overtime it even extended out for us.
And once it gets to overtime, does the focus or the game plan change in any way?
No, I think we just made a lineup, wanted to play Ali and Lamine together more often, I think. Worked out.
What was the significance of the word again in the game?
It's how we get mindful, I think. You got to do it again. You got to do it again. You got to do it again. It's like life, you got to find your consistency. And I think with this team in particular, with our lulls and how it looks sometimes, and the volatility we can play at, is not good for my heart rate. I know that much. But I got to keep walking uphill. But I think the whole deal is, how do you find your consistency, and how do you do it with the five guys over and over and over again? I think what we've seen is sometimes when the five guys are on the court, it's inward thinking at times, and it's experiencing it in a different way. And my thing is like, how do we get them back together, do it again, understanding it again, and then going through and getting those defensive stops. And then offensively, it's the same thing. We started kind of preaching to them like, don't get tired of this. Don't get tired of attacking the paint and making the right play. That's what happens in all hoops. NBA, college, high school, middle school, youth, everything. Guys get tired of it. Because they're like, oh, it'll show up again. You got to make it. You got to make your own here, and I think that's what we're building in this part of the stretch.
You were very animated on the sidelines today. What had you so emotional?
Everyone's got a job to do. I think we really just wanted this one. We wanted our environment. The Niagara loss was tough for us. It's the same thing. This team's never going to arrive, and neither am I. Probably not ever when I'm here. In all honesty. But this team can never have that arrival mindset, and that's part of the consistency, of our environment that we believe in. Well, we got to do it for the whole 40 minutes, and that's why I got so animated in a lot of situations. Is I'm feeling for these guys. Niagara was tough, I think that kind of got our environment a little like I don't know, like we can look like that. We can look like that. And I think coming back here with a big weekend in front of us and a huge Friday night game at home, it was time to take a step for us and for those guys and for this team. I felt that, and I wanted to compete with them. I wish I was out there with them, but those days are long gone. So we got to continue to influence as we can. And I thought that was I'm not losing my energy. I'm not losing my effort. I know that much.
What
Coach.
Prompted you to leave the building?
It's been an emotional week, so just wanted to be in there with with the coaches and the staff. Exciting week for us, so we got a good opportunity on Sunday.
Coach is going to ask you, out rebounded, had an edge on St. Peter's, and Lehman just with 15 rebounds was a key for you, on 14 points.
Yeah. What's crazy? You guys hear me all the time talk about like it's hard being a guard here because of all. I think a lot of the great guards I've coached and been around. It's hard to be a guard. It's really hard to be a big, and because he has 14 and 15, and it's always what I do. First thing I do when I get back in the locker, I'm like, man, let me be so much better. and then everyone's like, Coach, calm down. He's got 14, 15 again. You know what I mean? But I love his openness to produce like this. I had no idea he had that in his personality. Obviously, I believe in him a lot, in what he does and what he brings and his instincts and his actions. But his openness to produce like this is something that I'd never take for granted. And his willingness to do a lot of things to help us win, night in, night out. I really never take that for granted. I'm very grateful for his personality, because that's a difference maker for us.
How do you get your team ready for the rock fight of all rock fights?
Yeah, I know. You got to be careful. You got to be careful not to overdo it. You got to be careful not to, put the bubble on the goal and put we don't have a football team, Brian, but we'll have to put the football helmets on and get ready to go. You got to be very careful how you do that, because you could also wear yourself down and make it a big deal, you know. And I think we just, again, our preparation is, I still believe it. I know we're 8-9 in the league and 16-12 overall, but I think our preparation has just helped. It helps the guys see that clear picture. I'm very clear-minded on what I feel about this team, and I think that's kind of what we did. Is like, you're trying to maximize the effort on Wednesday, honestly, and then Thursday you're trying to dial into the details and understand the physicality it takes, and you're trying to balance that out as best you can without wearing yourself down.
Coach, how do you feel your defense is coming along at this point? What are you really working on?
Yeah, I think we enjoyed today's result because our we lost some consistency in I call it the domino effect a lot. We lost some consistency in that first domino with our fundamentals on defense. And that was a big thing this week, to get back to a lot of our fundamentals, because we love domino 2, 3, and 4. We're doing a great job there. But we look back on a lot of this film, and I mean, even Canisius too. You know what I mean? Our first domino was lacking. So I thought our defensive fundamentals tonight really propelled us to that 27-17. I think was the score for a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's like that propelled us to what that was, and then the game's going to go ebbs and flows, you know, as it is. But I think that's where we're at. Is like we're going to judge our fundamentals at a very high level. I'm done evaluating it. It's time to judge it. And that's where I think we're at with our defense.
Okay.
Coach, you spoke about what you saw from the meeting coach as well, and even Bash mentioned that he believed that he was playing the best for you guys over the last couple of weeks, even amidst the lull, as well as CJ. Just each of them played with a certain level of physicality, and obviously late in the season, games just tend to be a little bit more physical. Speak about the impact of those guys and how they embrace the physicality to be able to change the way of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a very enlightening speech pregame about that, which I enjoy a lot. It's one of my favorite ones. I'll tell you guys later on in life. But I think the deal is like, you got to decide where you're gonna match it, where you're gonna look for it, where you're gonna decide how to go against a team that's so great on defense and so athletic and physical. And offensively, that's a challenge. It's a challenge to us. It's a challenge to our physicality and to our environment. So for me, it's really relying on them. And even at Cozy, you know, as the game was going on, and he's starting to get fouled, but he's not making his threes, and it's like, and like the left wing three versus when he got the switch on Williamson, you know, it's like, yeah, I don't mind it, but there's a world of like, you know, because Cozy also has this which not many know, like when he gets downhill and has his right lineups, he's a great playmaker as well. So I think we got to continue to put him in those situations for us, see that physicality, and then see what our decision making looks like. And yeah, agreed. I think we're just really trying to. I think our guys have seen so much college basketball; they haven't really experienced it a lot themselves. Sometimes it's probably why they weren't playing, because they weren't physical enough, you know, in their previous spots and what they're doing. So, to me, it's what that looks like, and they gotta experience it and go through it. And I think they're starting to, at times, put it together. And how are we doing it consistently?
How does a win like tonight boost everyone's confidence for the upcoming tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just a little bit, you know, like I said, with that second half run, it's a little bit of the belief. You know, you know, we're not Ted Lassoing it with the believe signs, but I think you want to, you know, results help. Results help so much, and I think we've experienced so much from this year. Like the reflection on this year is really wild already. So we gotta continue to trust what we're doing, trust the environment. We had a great talk right after the game before overtime, right in regulation before overtime. A conflict was there, and it was great. It was met with correct communication, and I love it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we're talking about. The experiences are starting to propel us, and that's where I think the belief comes from, some of the results as well.
How was Aliu ready for tonight, maybe compared to previous encounters?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can't really fail any more correctly from that Peters. You know, and I love our guy, and he missed the dunk, and there was a choice to be made in his mind and his body, and he made the right choice. And I think for him, it's like same deal. He's feeling this not even feeling this out, but he needs to understand. It's, you know, when I was a sophomore, I was horrible to start the year. I think I was one or 2 for 20 to start the year. Yeah, I shot a lot. But it's like, you know, you're doing that. And you don't realize your impact on the game. You know, when you're young, you don't realize how you impact an environment when you have some different plays. And I think he's starting to understand that. You know, and I think we talk about it a lot, him and I, and you know, his rim protection is very vital for us. And I think he made some big plays for us on the defensive end, and then offensively, I mean, he's just growing. It's tough. We play a different style. Our wings, or whatever you want to call him, whatever you want to call Lamine. I call him a point center, but he's a point center that plays with a center on the floor with him. You know what I mean? So Aliu's got to get used to some different stuff. I don't think he wasn't playing with that in Sweden. You know, so he's got to get used to that, and on the offensive end find his like comfort. But defensively, you know, I think he's got to continue to feel his impact, and we need to continue to pump him up on that part of it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.